When a man is genuinely attracted to you, the very first thing that happens isn't in his words, it's in his body. You might think you're paying attention to the way he speaks, the phrases he chooses, or the jokes he tells, but the truth is that attraction often bypasses the mind entirely and shows up in micro-expressions, posture, and subtle movements before he even opens his mouth. This is because the human brain and body are wired to react emotionally before rational thought kicks in. In the presence of someone we truly desire, our bodies speak a language that words can't hide. Consider the split-second shift that happens when he sees you. His posture straightens, his shoulders unconsciously broaden, his chest subtly lifts. Even if he tries to act casual, there's a tension in his body that signals alertness, excitement, and readiness. It's as if his body instinctively wants to show up fully for the moment, even before his mind has a chance to filter it. These physical reactions are involuntary. They occur because his emotional system has recognized significance in your presence. In other words, he doesn't choose these movements, they choose themselves. Micro-expressions, those fleeting facial movements that happen in a fraction of a second, are another powerful indicator. A genuine smile, a slight lift of the eyebrows, or a softening around the eyes. All of these can happen in the blink of an eye and vanish just as quickly, but they leave a trace in the way you perceive him. You may not consciously notice each tiny shift, but your intuition does. Your subconscious mind picks up on the authenticity of these signals long before you analyze the situation consciously. This is why sometimes you just feel that someone is into you, even if he hasn't said a single word yet. It's also important to notice how he approaches the greeting. A man who's attracted doesn't treat a hello as a social obligation. His body moves toward you with intent. He closes the distance naturally but not aggressively, matching the rhythm of your space, your presence, your energy. He leans slightly forward, opens subtly, and his gestures align with a desire to connect. These are all unspoken indicators that his mind is already invested emotionally, even if he tries to maintain a facade of nonchalance. This concept extends beyond physical movement. It's about timing, rhythm, and responsiveness. He responds faster to your gestures, your movements, your emotional cues. His body reflects an attunement to you that he can't fully control, and that attunement is a direct consequence of attraction. It's why a casual greeting with someone he doesn't care about looks completely different. There's no urgency, no tension, no micro-excitement in the posture or the gestures. The difference is subtle but unmistakable when you know what to look for. So, the next time you notice a man's body leading before his words, pay attention. His involuntary reactions, the tiny shifts in posture, the fleeting micro-expressions, these are the language of genuine interest. They reveal his emotional truth in a way he can't fabricate or control. Attraction, at its most authentic, is pre-verbal. It exists in the moments before thought, before rationalization, and before intention. And here's the truth to take with you. When a man's body reacts before his words, he is revealing something real. He is exposing his desire, even if his mind hasn't yet dared to acknowledge it. Learn to read these signs because they are the purest reflection of genuine attraction. That is where the truth begins, before words, before logic, and before even he realizes it. When it comes to attraction, words are only part of the story. What often gives a man away before he even realizes it is his tone. The subtle shifts in how he speaks when he sees someone he's genuinely drawn to. Tone is more than just pitch or volume. It's an emotional fingerprint, a resonance that betrays what the heart feels even when the mind is trying to appear casual. And here's the fascinating part. Tone is incredibly difficult to control. A man may try to act nonchalant, may rehearse casual phrases in his mind, but the emotional undercurrent of desire subtly influences the way he speaks, giving him away long before any words are consciously formed. Think about the way a man's voice softens almost imperceptibly when he greets a woman he's attracted to. There's a warmth, a kind of gentle attentiveness that creeps into his tone. It's not something he chooses deliberately. It's a physiological response to emotional engagement. When the body is activated by attraction, the vocal cords respond. The heartbeat changes, breathing patterns shift, and the voice reflects that inner excitation. Even if the words themselves are neutral, "Hey, how's it going?" The tone can carry an unspoken depth that signals intent, curiosity, and interest. There's also a musicality to his voice, a rhythm that differs from the neutral, everyday speech he uses with others. Subtle pauses, slightly elongated vowels, or the careful emphasis on your name can all indicate attraction. These are micro signals, and they happen without conscious thought. He doesn't have to plan them. They simply emerge because the emotional part of his brain, the limbic system, is activated and it communicates through the body, through posture, through energy, and through tone. His voice becomes a conduit for the feelings he hasn't yet allowed himself to express verbally. Tone also communicates attentiveness and focus. A man who is casually saying hello or passing a greeting will not adjust his rhythm, pitch, or inflection to match your presence. But a man who is drawn to you will naturally modulate his voice to meet your energy, to resonate with your mood. He might unconsciously mirror your tempo, your emotional cadence, or your vocal warmth. This mirroring is subtle but incredibly powerful because it signals that he's not just present physically, he's tuned into you emotionally. He's signaling attraction through the way he sounds, even if his words remain ordinary. The takeaway is that tone is an unspoken truth. While words can be rehearsed, delayed, or manipulated, the tone in which they are delivered is far more difficult to fabricate. It is an honest reflection of emotional engagement. The next time you encounter a man whose words seem casual but whose tone carries warmth, attention, or a nuanced playfulness, notice it. That tonal shift is one of the clearest markers that he is genuinely attracted, even if he hasn't yet articulated it. And here's the essential insight to carry forward. Attraction reveals itself not just in what a man says, but in how he says it. The subtle adjustments in tone, the involuntary warmth, and the rhythm that aligns with your presence, these are the signs that bypass pretense and reveal authentic interest. Learn to hear it, because tone speaks a truth that words alone can never fully convey. When his voice betrays his feelings, you are hearing the authentic language of desire, unfiltered, raw, and profoundly telling. When a man is genuinely attracted to a woman, the way he greets her is never casual. It is never just another interaction, lost among the routine greetings of the day. Instead, he greets her as if she is the highlight of the moment, the single presence that matters most in the room. There is an unmistakable focus in his energy, a shift in attention that sets her apart from everyone else. This is not something he can manufacture or fake. It is a natural consequence of emotional engagement, a manifestation of how his brain and body are responding to the significance he feels in her presence. The difference is subtle but powerful. A man who is casually friendly with everyone might offer the same, "Hey, how's it going?" to a colleague, a neighbor, or a friend. There's no change in posture, no change in energy, and no weight behind the greeting. But when he greets someone he is drawn to, there is an unmistakable emphasis. He leans slightly forward, even if unconsciously, showing his body is oriented toward you. His movements carry an intention that is absent in ordinary social exchanges. The room may be full, the environment busy, but for him, your presence eclipses all distractions. This focused greeting communicates more than attention. It conveys validation and recognition. By greeting you as the highlight of his attention, he is signaling that your presence matters. His mind and body are signaling that he values this moment more than any other casual interaction, even if he is trying to appear nonchalant. The intensity of the focus leaks through, and it is almost impossible to hide. Humans are wired to respond emotionally before they rationalize their behavior, which is why a man's body often leads his words, aligning itself to the energy of someone he is drawn to. Moreover, this focused greeting often comes with subtle nonverbal cues that reinforce the attention he is giving you. The tilt of the head, the duration of eye contact, the angle of his shoulders, all these seemingly minor signals converge to create a message that is unmistakable. He sees you, not just as part of the room, not just as another person to interact with, but as the person he wants to connect with in that moment. The greeting becomes more than a social norm. It becomes a vessel for attraction, a non-verbal admission of desire and interest. It is important to understand that this kind of greeting cannot be faked convincingly. A man can rehearse words, he can attempt to control gestures, he can mimic attentiveness, but the authentic energy, the subtle animation of the body when someone matters, cannot be fully fabricated. The body speaks a truth that words alone cannot hide. The room may be crowded and distractions abundant, but a focused greeting rises above it all, marking the interaction as significant, personal, and intimate. So the next time you notice a man greeting you in a way that sets you apart from the environment, pay attention. Observe the subtle shifts in posture, energy, and attention. These are the clear, authentic signs of attraction. The moment he treats your presence as exceptional, he is revealing his feelings before he has even said a word. And the takeaway is simple, yet profound. When a man greets you as the highlight, he is showing genuine interest in the purest form, a silent but undeniable acknowledgement of your value and the pull he feels toward you. That recognition is where the truth of attraction begins. One of the most revealing signs of genuine attraction is the way a man uses his eyes when he greets a woman. Eye contact is a form of communication far more primal and revealing than words. It is the silent bridge between two people, carrying intention, curiosity, and emotion in a way that is nearly impossible to fake. When a man is genuinely attracted, his gaze does not merely acknowledge your presence. It lingers. It is steady, attentive, and intentional, conveying an unspoken message that goes beyond casual social interaction. The eyes are among the first parts of the body to betray authentic feeling. Even when a man is trying to appear casual or disinterested, the pull of attraction manifests in the way he holds your gaze. It is not a glance fleeting enough to be polite, nor is it the kind of eye contact made in passing conversation with someone neutral. There is a subtle intensity, a sustained focus that communicates without words that he is engaged, curious, and emotionally present. In these moments, the eyes speak the truth before the lips even have the chance to form a sentence. Moreover, the duration and quality of eye contact in attraction is telling. It is not about staring in a way that makes someone uncomfortable. It is about a measured attentiveness, a gaze that is lingering yet respectful, signaling genuine interest. The eyes reflect a heightened level of awareness. He notices your expressions, your micro-reactions, the shifts in your energy. There is an active curiosity that accompanies attraction, and the eyes are the gateway through which this curiosity is expressed. A man who is simply friendly will seldom hold his gaze long enough for you to sense this depth, because casual interaction does not trigger the same neurological and emotional engagement. This form of eye contact is paired with subtle non-verbal cues that further betray his attraction. A micro smile, the slight lift of eyebrows, or the gentle narrowing of the eyes can accompany the gaze, reinforcing the unspoken connection. These expressions are involuntary. They emerge from the subconscious and are difficult, if not impossible, to control entirely. That is why a woman often feels a man's interest before he speaks. before he even approaches. His eyes convey a truth that words, rehearsed or cautious, often cannot. It is also crucial to understand the context of this gaze. Genuine attraction does not rely on grand gestures or overtly dramatic signals. It is in the subtle, repeated moments, the eye contact that recurs when you speak, the way his eyes seek yours in a crowded room, the consistency of focus across different interactions. These repeated patterns create a clear, undeniable signal of interest. So when you notice a man whose gaze lingers, whose eyes are steady, and whose attention in a crowded environment seems to single you out, recognize it as a profound indicator of genuine attraction. The eyes reveal what the lips may not yet articulate. They are the window to intent, the silent confirmation that he is drawn to you, emotionally and cognitively, in a way that cannot be fabricated. In this truth, you find clarity. The unspoken language of his eyes speaks louder than any rehearsed words ever could. Attraction begins here, raw, visible, and undeniably authentic. When a man is genuinely attracted to a woman, his greeting is not merely a routine social interaction. It is an expression of energy, intention, and subtle emotional signaling. One of the most telling aspects of this is the way he mirrors your presence. Mirroring is a psychological phenomenon where one person subconsciously reflects the body language, gestures, and energy of another. It is an involuntary behavior rooted in empathy and connection, and it becomes particularly pronounced when attraction is involved. A man who is drawn to you will often, without realizing it, align his movements with yours, creating a subtle, almost imperceptible harmony in his greeting. Notice how he approaches you. It's rarely abrupt or rushed. Instead, there is a rhythm, a measured closeness that mirrors your energy and pace. If you tilt your head slightly or adjust your posture, he may unconsciously do the same, creating a silent synchrony that speaks volumes. This mirroring extends to gestures, tone, and facial expressions. When you smile, he smiles back, not as a reflexive politeness, but as a natural alignment with your emotional state. When you speak, his expressions, nods, or even micro-movements mirror your cadence. These small, often overlooked behaviors indicate a deep level of attentiveness and subconscious investment in the interaction. The reason this happens is rooted in human psychology. Attraction triggers a heightened level of awareness, compelling him to attune to the person he is drawn to. The brain releases neurochemicals that heighten focus and empathy, making him more receptive to your cues and more inclined to respond in kind. This is why the greeting feels different when he's genuinely interested. There is a resonance, a flow, an energy exchange that cannot be easily faked. A man who is not attracted may offer the same words, "Hey, nice to see you," but the delivery lacks synchronization, subtle reflection, and the unspoken attention that true attraction brings. Beyond mirroring, the greeting often carries a layer of warmth and energy that sets it apart. Even in crowded or busy environments, he finds a way to center his focus on you. His energy becomes slightly more expansive, his gestures more open, and his posture more inviting. There is a magnetic quality in the way he steps into the moment, signaling interest without needing to articulate it. This combination of attentiveness, energy, and alignment creates a greeting that is not just social, it is charged with emotional significance. Recognizing these signs allows you to understand attraction at a deeper level. It is not about what he says, but how his presence and actions naturally reflect investment and interest. The mirroring, the synchrony, the subtle adjustments in energy, these are the markers of a genuine connection that is unfolding before words are exchanged. So pay attention to these nuances. When a man greets you in a way that mirrors your movements, matches your energy, and radiates warmth, He is signaling attraction authentically. It is a form of communication that bypasses conscious control, revealing his genuine interest. The essence of his greeting lies not in the words, but in the resonance of presence, the alignment of energy, and the invisible threads of connection that speak louder than any sentence could. In this, the truth of attraction is laid bare. It is visible, felt, and unmistakably real. One of the most compelling markers of genuine attraction is the lingering energy a man projects during a greeting. This is not just about the words he says or the gestures he makes. It is about the subtle emotional residue that remains in the space between you, a presence that speaks louder than speech. When a man is truly drawn to a woman, his energy lingers even after the initial greeting, creating a magnetic pull that is almost tangible. This is the kind of signal that cannot be faked because it is a physiological response as much as it is psychological. The heart rate, breathing, and micro expressions all subtly align to convey interest, long after the casual pleasantries are exchanged. When he greets you, notice the way he maintains presence. His eyes do not immediately shift elsewhere. His posture remains slightly oriented toward you, even in a crowded room. His gestures, though small, carry a weight of attentiveness. There's a subconscious effort to remain engaged, to linger in the moment rather than rush past it. This is because the human mind, when attracted, naturally seeks to extend the interaction, even subtly, creating what can be described as an emotional footprint. Even if he does not verbally extend the conversation, the energy he radiates leaves an imprint, making his interest palpable. This lingering energy often interacts with the surrounding space in ways that are unconscious yet revealing. He may mirror your subtle movements, lean slightly into the conversation, or orient his body in alignment with yours. These are not deliberate choices. They emerge naturally from the neurological wiring that governs human attraction. The brain registers the presence of someone it is drawn to, heightening focus and attentiveness. The body follows, creating a form of nonverbal dialogue that communicates interest more powerfully than words ever could. Importantly, this lingering effect is cumulative. A single greeting may carry small cues, but repeated interactions reinforce the pattern. When a man consistently greets you in a way that leaves this subtle magnetic residue, it signals authenticity. He is invested in the interaction and, on a deeper level, in your presence. Unlike casual social exchanges, these greetings are emotionally charged. They are layered with subtle signals, tone, eye contact, body orientation that collectively confirm attraction. The beauty of this insight is that it teaches us to observe beyond the surface. Words can be rehearsed, gestures can be practiced, but the energy that lingers is a reflection of unfiltered emotion. It is the cumulative signal of interest, a form of communication that transcends conscious control. By noticing how a man's energy behaves after the initial greeting, you gain a profound understanding of his true feelings, often long before he articulates them. So, pay attention to the energy that remains, the subtle presence that persists beyond words. When a man greets you and his attention, warmth, and focus linger, it is a clear marker of genuine attraction. The essence of his interest is revealed not in what he says, but in how his presence continues to resonate. In these moments, the truth of desire is unmistakable. Attraction is not merely spoken, it is felt, radiated, and indelibly present.